Hey, folks, we are live, and let's just get into it. We got a couple of tidbits to go through, and maybe we'll be here for about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. We'll see what happens. But without further ado, let's just get into our first story. This is Amex is opening some more sidecars and looking to revamp some Centurion lounges. So Amex opening new Centurion lounge at Boston, sidecar at Charlotte, plus larger and updated DFW lounge. So just network expansion for the Centurion lounge. Centurion lounge at Boston Logan International expected to open in 2029. That is nice. No word here on where that lounge is going to be, so we'll see that in just a second. Second ever sidecar by the Centurion Lounge at Charlotte Douglas International is expected to open next year in 2027. An expanded Centurion Lounge at DFW International is expected to open in 2027. So nothing opening this year, but is what it is. American Express has signed a lease to open a new Centurion Lounge at Boston, expanding its lounge network to one of the Northeast's busiest travel hubs. The two-story lounge will be among the largest in the Centurion Lounge network and will feature outdoor terrace. Offers traveler open air space. Rest will recharge for them to recharge and views of the airfield. No word on what terminal this will be in, so we'll just have to wait and see. But it's going to be 2 stories, and you'll have an open air terrace and the ability to see the airfield. So that's cool. A couple other claims there. No big deal. Sidecar by the Centurion Lounge coming to Charlotte Douglas International. So to complement the existing Centurion Lounge at Charlotte Douglas, American Express is also opening its next sidecar by the Centurion Lounge. The more intimate format debuted earlier this year at Harry Reid International. So it's designed with solo and small groups of travelers who have limited time between their flights, but also want a premium refined experiences. So sidecar is basically like you're out in about 90 minutes. But you can get elevated small plates, small signature cocktails, maybe they're small, who knows, and a wine list via QR code. The menu items are quickly delivered to your seats. So I've heard data points from folks, most recently, like the Miles to Go podcast, where one of the co-hosts said, like, from ordering to food service at the sidecar by Centurion, it was like 8 minutes. So there you go. This will be inspired by Charlotte's heritage and craft traditions, all that. And then a larger updated Centurion Lounge will be coming to DFW. So it's expanding and renovating its Centurion Lounge at DFW, one of the earliest locations in the Centurion Lounge network. The expansion will make the lounge nearly 50% larger than its current footprint, adding more seating, a new dining area, and a second full service bar. So there you go. Renovated space will also introduce a walk-up ice cream window, offering travelers a quick sweet treat before boarding. The reimagined space blends modern sophistication with the spirit of the West, whatever that's supposed to mean. Featuring rich textures and warm desert tones, renovation is expected to be completed in 2027. Cool. Next up, more from American Express. And I've lauded Chase for holding the line at one-to-one transfer partners. We'll do the same here. American Express membership rewards ending transfers with Etihad guests in June. So I don't know if this is because Etihad is looking to update its transfer rates and American Express said no. But as of June 30th, 2026, American Express membership rewards will end its transfers to Etihad guests. Etihad has a really strict cancellation policy, so it's one of those where, like, you can get some pretty good deals, but if any part of your journey falls apart at any point, you could be in some serious trouble. So membership rewards transfers to Etihad guests will end on June 30th. This gives you just under 3 months to take advantage of this partnership. Transfers currently processed at a 1-to-1 transfer ratio, meaning 1,000 membership reward points is 1,000 Etihad miles. It's a big devaluation for some travelers. Etihad guests provides some of the best award availability for the carrier's legendary first and business class products, including the apartment first class and on the carrier's A380. It's worth noting you can still transfer from Bilt, Capital One, and Citi to Etihad guests at a 1-to-1 transfer ratio, as well as Rove. Disclaimer, I moderate a Facebook group for Rove. It is the Travel Deals with Rove Facebook group. They give me points for doing so. Cool. So they also have Etihad as a transfer partner. So these programs have not announced plans to cut transfers to Etihad guests at the time of writing. Don't know yet if that's going to be, if this is due to Etihad pushing for a reduced transfer rate and American Express saying no. That would be ideal. So just keep an eye out on the Capital One and Citi transfer rates. with the smaller programs like Bilt and Rove, they're able to maintain that one-to-one a little bit easier. I don't know if it's because, they're buying more, they're forced to buy in a larger amount of points, or if they have to do anything different than the banks. But if you see Capital One or Citi devalue the Etihad transfer rate, I'm going to assume that American Express was given the same option and decided to decline it. But there you go. While Etihad's not a member of a major airline alliance, Etihad has partnerships with a handful of airlines. This includes American Airlines, Air Canada, Brussels Airlines, JetBlue, and others. Some of these partnerships offer great redemption rates, and if you have membership reward points, it might be time to lock in some of those redemptions. So there you go. And then it goes into some examples that you can do with American. I know the JetBlue rates are also pretty strong for Etihad. So you can book let's see, I think this is Mint. Yeah, you can book JetBlue's Mint business class. You can book routes to Europe for significantly fewer points through Etihad Guest than through TrueBlue. There's a flight from Boston to Dublin that would cost you 60,000 Etihad Guest miles and $32 in taxes and fees to do Mint. So there you go. So yeah, American Express ending transfers to Etihad in June. Either it's getting too expensive or Etihad demanded a ridiculous transfer rate and it was too rich or too dumb for AmEx's blood. So we'll see. Anyway, next up, we've got Chase is updating pay yourself back categories on the Sapphire, Inks, and other co-branded cards. Nothing major here, but every quarter they do update this. For this quarter, the Sapphire Reserve and the JP Morgan Reserve cards will get 1.25 cent per point pay yourself back options as a statement credit at grocery stores, pet supply stores, and veterinary services, as well as the annual fees for the cards. The Sapphire Preferred will give you a 1.25% at qualifying charities, and that's about it. Also you can get 1.1 cent per point at the same pet stores and veterinary services, as well as the annual fee. Okay, cool. The ink cards are only getting charities. Yeah, 1.25 cent per point at certain charities through June 30th of 2026. And those same charities would also work for the Freedom Flex and the Freedom Unlimited. Freedom Flex currently has Feeding America as an option, so I think Feeding America would be one of those select categories. So you could earn points, 5 times points per dollar through with Feeding America, and then pay yourself back for those donations at 1.25 cent per point. So you kind of come out ahead a little bit. Southwest Rapid Reward cards, they're doing 1 cent per point. I believe this is redemptions must be made 90 days within the transaction date, whatever. And that's just for the annual fee. The Rapid Rewards business cards also doing the annual fee. No big deal. The Mileage Plus cards are doing between 1.35 to 1.5 cent per point on the annual fee. Nothing to write home about there. Aeroplan card is still doing through June 30th. You can pay yourself back for gas, dining, and grocery store purchases, excluding Target and Walmart, redeemed at a rate of 0.8 cents per point. So you can redeem 10,000 points for an $80 statement credit. That's not awesome, but you can continue to do 1.25 cents per point to cover the annual fee and travel purchases. The cap on travel purchases remains at 200,000 points. Bonvoy Bold will let you pay yourself back on Marriott Bonvoy stays. That's redeemed at 0.8 cents per point. The Disney cards also give you something. Streaming service credits, whoop-de-doo. So just wanted to cover those. Speaking of Chase, you can get up to a 30% bonus when you transfer Chase points to Aeroplan. They are doing a 20% bonus to Aeroplan. The up to 30% will require you to hold the Aeroplan credit card. So through April 30th, Chase cardholders can receive up to a 30% bonus if they hold both the Aeroplan card and they transfer Ultimate Rewards over. You do have to transfer over something like 50,000 points or something like that, but you do get that limited time 20% bonus. You can do any amount for the 20% bonus, but the promotion is stackable with the Aeroplan cards. 10% bonus up to 25,000 bonus points, which is triggered when you transfer at least 50,000 Ultimate Reward points, and bonus points may take up to 7 days to credit. All right, cool. So there you go. The ability to move your Ultimate Reward points from over to Aeroplan is available with the 20% bonus. If you hold the Aeroplan card, you can get up to a 30% bonus. You do have to transfer at least 30,000 points, and with the pay yourself back that Dugraus does, he'd be getting he will continue to get like, I think with the 30% it ends up being like 1.675, maybe a little bit more, but I know that he typically gets 1.625 on travel purchases using the Aeroplan card, so that works out pretty well. Continuing on with Chase, we've got them doing a transfer bonus to IHG for 70%. This is like the fourth time in the last 8 months. I feel like they do this every other month now with the 70% transfer bonus. It would probably behoove Chase and IHG to just go to a 1 to 2 transfer rate at this point. Like, they're continually offering that 1 to 1.7. May as well just go to 1 to 2. Like, considering the value of IHG points, like, probably better and easier to compel people to want to invest in IHG more with their ultimate reward points if it was 1 to 2. If any program in Chase would benefit from going from 1 to 1 to 1 to 2, where 1 ultimate reward point will net you 2 points in that category, in that program, it would be IHG. So great for topping off. Again, IHG points will sometimes be on the lower end of things, but if you can ever get like around 1 cent per point, maybe a little bit more, definitely worth it. Meanwhile, let's move over to some other banks and their transfer bonuses. Speaking of transfer bonuses with frequency, Capital One is doing another 30% transfer bonus to Japan Airlines Mileage Bank. This partnership launched 6 months ago. This is the third 30% transfer bonus. It's almost like Capital One deeply regrets the fact that they signed on to a 4 to 3 transfer rate instead of getting a 1 to 1 transfer rate. This continues to be like a 2 to 1.5 rate now, where 1,000 points will get you like 975 Japan Airlines miles. Y'all should have just written a better deal where you get 1 to 1. This is the third time that, like, when half of the time that you've had this as an option for people, you have pushed forward a 30% transfer bonus. Maybe renegotiate and get the 1 to 1 deal where like you'd be perceived better to have that, because you got to be buying so many points to make this worthwhile. Between this, the transfer bonus that was happening today, as today's rent day and April Fool's Day, great, with Bilt and the 50% from Rove, like Japan Airlines is making some bank right now when it comes to milking other programs, picking up their miles. Like, they got to be making some serious bank right now. It's pretty impressive. All of this has been coming from upgraded points. I promise it wasn't my idea just to do all upgraded points, but like, these were the stories that interested me the most over the last couple of days. There was a couple over on Frequent Miler. I'll dig into those in a little bit, but let's do something else that I noticed. JetBlue has launched new ways to earn and redeem points. Do they provide good value? Well, we'll talk about that. JetBlue has launched a TrueBlue subscription. So there are 3 levels. There's Points Traveler, Points Adventurer, and Points Trailblazer. You can buy these either on a monthly rate, or annually. They're also doing a limited time offer where you can get 5 tiles for purchasing a plan by April 14th. So that's cool. The Points Traveler is pretty basic. You'll only get 1,000 points per month. You'll get, if you do the monthly option, you'd be paying $13 a month, and the annual subscription would be $144 a month, which would be $12 per month. Points Adventurer is a little bit better. You'll get 2,000 points per month. You'll also get a flight accelerator, so you'll get an additional 2 points per dollar on JetBlue flights. That stacks on top of whatever your credit card gives you if you're using a JetBlue card. So the JetBlue cards typically give you 6 points per dollar, and if you have Mosaic status, even more, but like 6 points per dollar plus an additional 2 points per dollar, and if you have status, whatever your status accelerator is. This would be a monthly fee of $32.50, or you could just pay $360 for the annual subscription. Then the last one is the Points Trailblazer. This is somewhat interesting. Points Trailblazer is 2,500 points per month. You'll get a 10% discount on redemptions. That stacks with the JetBlue card's 10% redemption discount, or the discount on redemption with that, or like you make the redemption and you get 10% of your points back. This would be you make the redemption and you get 20% of your points back. You'll also earn an additional 3 points per dollar using their flight accelerator. So if you use any JetBlue card, it would be instead of, well, any annual fee JetBlue card. Don't get the free JetBlue card. That's silly. The annual JetBlue card, annual fee JetBlue cards would all be 9x JetBlue points per dollar. And then if you're Mosaic, whatever your Mosaic bonus would be on top of that. This would put you back $67.50 a month, or you could pay $750, which is weird because for $500 you get their really, really terrible premium card that gets you access to the True Blue House at JFK and the eventual True Blue House at Boston, and doesn't really do much else for you. But like, throw this on top of that. I don't know. I would pay $750 for a set number of points per month, the discount, the additional 3 points per dollar, and access to True Blue House. I wonder if a yearly membership will also come out, and maybe you could get like a discount for putting the two together. That wouldn't be in JetBlue's best interest, but like it would be in customers' best interest, and I don't know where JetBlue would want to go with that. But paying monthly, you'd be buying points at 1.3 cents per point on the Points Traveler. You'd be buying points at 2.7 cents per point on the Points Trailblazer. If you do the annual plans, you'd be buying them at 1.2, 1.5, or 2.5 cents per point across the board. There's other ways to do. There's other ways to redeem points. You can redeem points for things like for checking your bags, any additional pet fees, priority security screening at select airports, as well as doing your seat upgrades with points. So you could buy like buy a seat at Blue, the one that will give you like your check bags or whatever, and then upgrade to even more, or like core preferred or the extra legroom seats, just using points. I don't know what the difference would be between like booking with points plus doing the upgrade with points. I don't know if that would be different than just buying the seat you want with points, but I'd have to go in and check everything out on JetBlue. I have not done that to this point, but I have certainly thought about it. To that end, they do have the storefront at points.com. This is through points.com, so it's not coming directly from JetBlue. So that sucks, because this 750 points, the $750 would not count toward using your JetBlue card and buying this Points Trailblazer annual plan and getting 7 tiles on top of the 5 tiles that you get because this is from points.com. That sucks. That really sucks. But you get an extra 1.6x Rove miles per dollar doing this, or 1.25 Bilt membership rewards or cashback from Rakuten, or 2.52% cashback from Top Cashback. So there you go. So points never expire, any flight, anytime, combined with your card rebate. So that's awesome. So you can get up to 20% back. That's fantastic. The second to last thing I wanted to cover here would be Chase Sapphire cardholders gain path to Hyatt's mid-tier Explorer status through spending. This was announced back in November. When it came out, I said like the best thing that they could do, the absolute best thing that they could do would be to slap Discoverist on the card as just a generic feature of the card, and then have Explorist be a spend your way. So basically, if you held the Sapphire Reserve or the Sapphire Reserve for Business, you'll have to spend $75,000 on the Sapphire Reserve or $120,000 on the Sapphire Reserve for Business to unlock the extra features that you get with that spend. One of those extra features now is Hyatt Explorer status. Explorist gives you 20% more points on paid stays, the ability for late checkout, higher upgrades than Discoverist will give you. It's not significantly better than Discoverist, and it's still like not as good as Explorist, as Globalist, but having hotel status as part of the premium travel card is kind of necessary now. American Express has, Hilton Gold, which is still really solid. Marriott Gold, which exists. The Sapphire Reserve has IHG Platinum as a basic feature of the card, and you can spend your way to Diamond with that $75,000. You'd also get Southwest A-list. I think it's just A-list status. Don't think you get A-list preferred, but either way. But adding hotel statuses is now going to be a thing going forward on these premium travel cards. I still think it's stupid that the $800 card doesn't come with Discoverist. That is a real missed opportunity, and I will be doing a video on that at some point. Just because that's an absolute stupid thing for them to do. But there you go. And then the final story, we're going back to JetBlue. JetBlue increases bag fees to offset higher fuel prices caused by Gulf conflict. They're doing a dynamic bag fee increase. So depending on if you're flying off peak or peak, your bag fee may increase by as much as $9, or as low as $4, but it'll usually go up to $9. $9s across the board. Can JetBlue? And the doesn't just affect buying direct from JetBlue. It's also going to be on the JetBlue Plus card, the JetBlue Premier card, and the JetBlue Business card. So that's really annoying. Yes, only paying $9 on your second bag. It's only $9, but you get the 2 bags free, or at least the first bag. Whatever. It's dumb. It's dumb, and this will continue going forward after the conflict ends, because the conflict is stupid and a fever dream for somebody trying to distract from other news that will greatly affect them. And, regime change is always the best way to go forward. Anyway, this is dumb, and JetBlue is just going to milk a couple of dollars, but because JetBlue is introducing it, expect to see it from American Airlines as things progress further. Expect to see it from United, Delta, Etihad, Emirates, Qatar, Oman Air, Saudi, Air Riyadh. El Al may introduce it as well. Royal Jordanian will. Pretty much anyone who can get away with it will get away with it, because they'll blame fuel surcharges, and the fuel surcharges will be a run-on effect that will last longer than the conflict, at least for a few years. And then after they've conditioned you for a few years to just accept the extra bag payment, you'll be fine with it. So yeah. Anyway, those were the stories over the last couple of days that were the most interesting to me. There's still a whole bunch of others that I could have done on Tidbits, but I have been neglecting comments. So let's go through comments now, going back to about a half hour ago. Sorry. Charvizio was first. Thank you so much, sir. Dr. Boombots joining. Hola. Thank you, sir. Nicholas joining as well. Hello. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Gorskik mentions that the Centurion Lounge at Boston will be in Terminal C near Gate C11. This per Massport documents. Ooh. Okay. So Terminal C, that's not the same terminal as, I don't think that's the same terminal as the Sapphire Lounge and where they're planning on putting the Blue House, True Blue House. I think those are in B. So interesting. And I don't remember where the Sky Clubs are, where the big Sky Club at Boston is. Yellow, everyone. Thanks, Russell. Yellow what? I don't remember what the yellow was for. Dr. Boombots, when is the Harry Reid opening? So the Sidecar Lounge at Harry Reid has already opened. That is opened already. I do not remember the exact location of it, but it's definitely open. It is near the Centurion Lounge. But the Sidecar concept is like, you're in, you're out, you grab a drink, you grab a quick bite to eat. It's about like a 90-minute turnaround, instead of spending all day at the lounge or all day at the Sidecar. James Ragland joining. Hey, Matt, great to see you. Great to see you too, James. Hope all is well. Thank you again for stopping in, watching with us. Good evening, all. Thanks, Nurikan. Thank you so much. Sleepy Rod, Amex took a stand. Instead of reducing the transfer rate, they told Etihad to pound sand based. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt that is what happened. I'm really hoping that that's what happened, because they've already bowed to Emirates and they bowed to Cathay. Now, I'm assuming that they got more business out of Emirates and Cathay, but like Etihad was up there in terms of like really big redemptions that you can do, and the room is one of those like real big time redemptions that everybody wants to do at some point. It's a real aspirational one. So I would imagine that Etihad may have been pushing to change the transfer rate, but if Amex told them to pound sand, like I gave Chase credit for telling Emirates to pound sand, I would have to give Amex credit for doing the same, and I'm going to assume that's the part that it is, right? Bill Ray joining, thank you so much. Just commenting for the algorithm, greatly appreciate it. Share Vizio skill issue just built different for transfer partners. Sure. Yes, they have 25 of them. Yes, most of them all happen to be at 1-to-1 with the exception of a core. It would be interesting if they had matched Amex's 1-to-2 with Hilton, or they had pushed IHG to go to 1-to-2, or just because they have all of these transfer partners doesn't mean that like there aren't 3 that make them relevant, or 3 that make them like the be all end all of everything, right? But we'll see. Happy Tom joining us. Hello. Tom recently hosted the Sacramento mini meetup this past weekend in Sacramento, obviously. So I saw that was pretty decently attended for a mini meetup, and glad to see it. I'm sorry I couldn't make it. I just life. But that looked awesome. So yeah, just wanted to highlight that. Keith joining. I mean, who would want to fly to the Middle East in the next year or two? The Middle Eastern airlines are going to take a hit on the chin. Yes and no. They're still going to. I don't think you're going to see too many flights into Doha or too many flights into Abu Dhabi over the next year or two, and probably for a couple of years after this is settled. But I can't imagine that they're not. I can't imagine that they're going to take a huge hit. They're still going to be operating airlines. Like they'll probably shift to getting some more money out of their fifth freedom flights, and they'll probably juice a couple of those. So don't be surprised to see a Qatar flight or Qatar flight from New York to a Qatar branded flight from New York to like Munich, or New York to Charles de Gaulle, or New York to Rome, or go after the old Emirates flight that was like New York to Milan or something like that. Like they'll find some fifth freedom routes, or they'll invest in some fifth freedom routes to kind of keep things afloat for them. You're not going to get direct access to Doha or Abu Dhabi or Muscat or like what, Amman in Jordan. Definitely not Damascus. But yeah. That part, they're going to be hurting. Maybe. We'll see. Anyone ever use Air Canada bonus points they gave out for having the CSR? No, I didn't know I wasn't aware that you could get Air Canada bonus points for holding the CSR. I wish I had known that. That'd be great. Chase must really love IHG. They sure do. They recently recommitted to each other before the recommitment from Hyatt that was announced in November of last year. IHG was first to jump on to putting status on the Sapphire Reserve. All IHG properties are marked as IHG 1 eligible for the Chase travel portal. So you'll earn 8 times points per dollar through Chase, and you'll get your status recognized with Chase through the portal. I think Hyatt's going to do that in the next quarter at least, where all Hyatts will have status recognized or status passed through in the Chase travel portal. That will be a huge advantage for Chase. But yeah, no, Chase loves them some IHG. IHG loves them some Chase, and at some point they're going to make their credit cards even more valuable. Or even more valuable to them, to the program. Well, the Aeroplan and Chase transfers to Air Canada make that the best transfer partner for Chase with Hyatt's upcoming devaluations. Maybe. So the biggest thing with that is that you have the bonus points activated when you do the transfer and you hold the Aeroplan card, and can pay yourself back even more powerful. I don't know if that makes them their best transfer partner, but they do have the highest guaranteed floor on travel purchases at 1.625% cash back for you, the equivalent of 1.625% cash back. And that's before doing any points bookings. That's before doing any partner bookings or anything like that. It probably makes the Aeroplan card one of the strongest co-branded cards for sure. And I think something that would be interesting to see in like a World of Hyatt card refresh or a World of Hyatt card premium card would be if Chase and Hyatt pursue the same sort of strategy, where if you transfer points over to Hyatt, holding the Hyatt card, you can get a bonus of points as well, like a 10% bonus, maybe a 15% bonus, depending on the card, and maybe if it's dependent on your status as well. You could get, an accelerator on that. And then, you could guarantee yourself a little bit higher of a floor, even with the devaluations coming, which again, like the 5-band devaluation is a pain. I don't think we're going to feel the full pain of the 5-band devaluation until next year. So there's that. JetBlue should get no business until they fix the JetBlue Premier card. No, JetBlue can get plenty of business, and I'm willing to give JetBlue business. Like, I hold the JetBlue business card. I will apply for the JetBlue Plus card in the not too distant future. I have no problem giving JetBlue business. I want JetBlue out of Barclays being the issuer, because things won't get better until they change issuers. Barclays has no interest in holding travel co-branded cards anymore, and Barclays has no interest in making the co-branded cards that they have good. So the only way that the JetBlue Premier card is going to get better is JetBlue, the JetBlue contract ends with Barclays, and JetBlue signs on with a legitimate issuer who cares about co-brands. Kevin Yoon asks, is Wells Fargo releasing any transfer partners soon? Yes, 2. Soon. Very soon. I've been given timelines. I'm not going to tell them. I'm not going to say what transfer partners they are. But there's 2, and there is a timeline. And I'll say that they're going to add a hotel and they're going to add an airline. Russell Rose, JetBlue being bought out by Alaska would truly solidify Alaska as a big league airline with a main hub on the East Coast of Boston. The only problem is they're playing little brother in their airline alliance with American Airlines. Like, sure, they would become a truly national airline, but like, they're always going to play second fiddle to American in One World. Alaska also doesn't make a lot of Alaska makes a certain amount of sense from the story about JetBlue looking to sell itself, and the 3 leading contenders are United, Alaska, and Southwest of all companies. I don't necessarily think that it doesn't make any sense for Southwest, because Southwest is an all 737-8 or MAX airline. Like, all they do is all their flights are on 737s. The 737 is their main body of their fleet. That is their maintenance staff. That is all of that. JetBlue is primarily on Airbuses. Like, I know they've got A321 XLRs and Neos on order, and they have a few of those in the fleet. I know that they've got Embraers in the fleet. I know that they've got that they were switching from the Embraer to the A220, which the A220 is just a rebranded Bombardier. but and I guess that's why the seats were a little bit weird. But the JetBlue A220 seats were great. The Breeze A220 seats made me realize that was a plane designed by Canadians. I could maybe see them doing Alaska. It's much more likely that they'll do United. And if United wants to get that deal done, they have until January of 2029 to push it through, grease the wheels, bribe whoever they got to bribe, enrich whoever they have to enrich, and do whatever corrupt bargain they got to do to get it done. And United can get it done pretty quickly. Alaska is still integrating the Hawaiian fleet, and they're repurposing the 787s that they just bought. If JetBlue had any A350 1000s on order or A350 900s on order, I could almost see a reason for Alaska to go after them. But Alaska is another Boeing heavy airline, so I don't know necessarily that buying JetBlue is going to you're buying JetBlue for the slots, and maybe you'll rename yourself JetBlue. I doubt you would. But it would make some sense to rename yourself JetBlue at that point. And you're just buying the slots. You're not buying the airlines. And you're not buying the pilots. And you're not buying the maintenance staff. You're not buying the planes, and you're not buying the pilots. You're just, or the maintenance staff. You're just buying the slots. And you're going to pay a lot of money to do that. Could it be worth it? Maybe. But I don't necessarily see Alaska being the one. All right. I can't do that spend on one card unless it was the one card to rule them all, and that hasn't happened. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't. The 75K kind of is what it is. That is another level of spender, and that is the spender that Chase is actively courting, which is fine, and a plan, and giving them more than just welcome guests back into our lounges is probably a better play by giving some things of actual value, but some level of premier status from United would go a lot further with the 75K spend than Southwest. But yeah, no, it's not a normal person spend to do. Hyatt Explorer status is mid. It is mid, but mid is better than nothing. Dynamic bags, yay capitalism. Well, Family Travel John, thank you for joining in tonight. And yeah, capitalism, the great engine that moves everything into oblivion. Gorskik mentions that Terminal C is JetBlue. Okay, so the Sapphire Blue House are on the border between B and C. Okay, got it. The Plaque card also has Leaders Club Sterling status as well. Yep, that is true. That got added in the refresh. Sky Clubs in Boston are Terminal A and E. Okay, and 1 Delta 1. Okay, got it. Thanks for that. Wasn't completely aware. Etihad points were getting devalued. Oh, interesting. Well, still has choices of 1 to 2 transfer partner. Yep. The Citi transfer devaluation goes into effect on April 19th. So we'll see if Wells continues to further entrench their relationship with Choice. They've already got the co-branded cards. They've got the transfer rate at 1 to 2. I wonder if they're going to do more with that. I don't know offhand, but yeah. Happy Tom, haven't seen an Amex Hilton transfer in a while. Seems overdue. Could you put it in a word, Matt? Amex stopped taking my calls. You're going to need RJ or Lonnie from the podcast to put in a word. I would imagine that a 30% transfer rate will probably come in toward the end of this quarter. Like June, July, August is probably when you'll see it, like during the summer travel season, maybe the winter travel season. But things seem to be going swimmingly for them, so I don't know that they necessarily need to do it. Sam Casas, Doha will be back in full swing by summer. Maybe. I know Abu Dhabi is getting more of the brunt of things, considering its juxtaposition to the Strait of Hormuz than Doha, but those scorned will find their ways to wreak havoc if they so choose. But we'll see. Double joining us. Hey, Matt. Thank you so much. Also asks, has there been much in the way of loyalty eligible Hyatt bookings in the Chase portal outside of the edit like IHG? So here's my grand theory on this. I do think it's coming. But I think what we're going to see, there's going to be obviously the announcement from Hyatt about the category changes this month. That'll go into effect in May, when in May they're doing the jump to 5 band, right? I think we're going to potentially see, as part of like blunting the fury on that, you'll probably see the Hyatt, whatever the next Hyatt card, one of the next Hyatt cards launched. I would assume that a premium Hyatt card would be launched as a way of like, hey, pay no attention to that bad news. Here's a shiny. And then there would be like a more quiet announcement that Hyatt will add all of its properties in the Chase Travel portal will be given Hyatt status or Hyatt reflection or Hyatt pass through, whatever they're going to call it, or whatever it's called. But having your Hyatt status reflected when you book through Chase Travel. I think that will come. That'll probably be announced in April. Announced this month, and then we won't see it come to fruition until, I don't know, some point in this quarter. But I think you're going to see a couple of those announcements sooner than later. Just we haven't seen it yet. With IHG, it was super quiet, but with Hyatt, I think like Hyatt knows how bad the perception is going to be because of how bad the perception already is, and I assume that Hyatt's marketing team and Hyatt's marketing staff and Hyatt's people who pay attention to this are not completely lost. So yeah, I think they're going to have a plan. Maybe, possibly. They may not, because we know Chase didn't have a plan. Keith, watching you in rainy Boston tonight from an Accor Fairmont hotel, which I paid for with the edit credit and $100 travel offer. Ooh, nice. Fairmont's are really nice properties, and I assume that you could also like use your core credits at the property and pay down whatever you want for a pretty hefty profit or pretty decent profit. Jeremy Cahill joins us. Wishlist item, but 1-to-1 to JetBlue from AmEx. If they haven't done it yet, they're not going to do it now. I want AmEx to get rid of its excise tax on domestic transfers before anything else. That would be nice. Tio Rico joining us. Howdy, Tio. Hope all is well. Wells Fargo will add Frontier Airlines and Motel 6 by December 2059. No. Well, one of those might partially be right. No. Sorry, it's the other brand I'm thinking of, not Motel 6. No. Expect some news this month. Wells Fargo released transfer partners before summer or after summer? So when they first dropped their transfer partners, their first transfer partners were dropped in March of 2024. And then when they added Virgin and JetBlue, that was after the summer in 2025. But they, or like one was before the summer and one was after the summer. These will be before summer. And Sam mentions that we're going to the moon. Yeah, the Artemis 2 mission successfully launched. So, we'll see stuff. Hopefully a successful new moon landing in the next like 6 to 10 weeks. That will be some yay hope type stuff. But I wish NASA hadn't been completely gutted. I wish a lot of things hadn't been completely gutted. But no, I mean, that's cool. The privatization of space really bummed me out. Shabby O'Cloak joining us. Hey, Matt. Oh, hey, Shabby. Hope all is well. James mentions to hit the like button. Yes, please do. We'll greatly appreciate that. Shabby says, are we still thinking Chase will be refreshing cards after tax day? Hope they make positive changes. I'm going to assume, so I think the date that they said that they were going to be updating the categories for hotels was going to be like April 22nd. That's after tax day. So we might hear about Hyatt stuff that day and leading up to that day. A Sapphire preferred refresh. I don't know if that's going to come. That would probably come after tax time, but I don't know anything about that, or I haven't heard anything about that. We haven't even gotten word of surveys about that, unless somebody saw something today. And please let me know. But they have to knock it out of the park if they're going to refresh the Sapphire preferred. And yes, there's certainly an argument to be made to keep the Sapphire preferred the way that it is. Maybe. But they gotta do something with the firestorm that's about to happen of people canceling or downgrading their Sapphire reserves after hitting their bonuses for potentially the last time, not liking the $795 annual fee, and potentially mass downgrading or mass canceling after year one. Like, that refresh went into effect June 20 something of last year. There's going to be a bunch of cancellations and stuff come July 1. For sure. Citi Strata card refresh is a bad thing. No, refreshes aren't a bad thing. The proposed refreshes just happen to not tickle too many people's pickles about an annual fee going up to $195. I think the one that was travel focused, I went City Nights heavy, or both of them actually mentioned City Nights. I think the one that was travel heavy and took away your everyday earnings by a point, I don't like that one particularly. I don't think that would be a good thing particularly. That one. But the second one, the one that's less talked about, the one that I did a second video on, that one that keeps the 3% earnings, I think that one's sort of fine. I still think Splurge is a dumb credit sound. I still think City Nights is a stupid name, but that card at least was like better all around, and was a bit more lifestyle focused, and like the $120 back on like adding 5 recurring subscriptions. Like, it's a genius way to get you to put things on that card that you wouldn't necessarily put, but parking 5 monthly subscriptions and getting $120 back for doing so on a $195 annual fee, and still adding like the credits on the hotels. That is the better card and a genius move by Citi. I don't say super positive things about Citi all the time. But that second refresh, that is not like the second one that was surveyed. That's not a bad play. It doesn't make things better overall. But here's the thing. Citi is paying a premium to have American Airlines as a transfer partner. Like, they have to be paying an obnoxious amount of money to be able to do American Airlines 1-to-1. And they're going to do everything they can to keep that 1-to-1. And they're going to take drastic measures. They've already announced cuts to 2 transfer partners from 1-to-2 to 1-to-1.5, and from 1-to-4 to 1-to-2. I think that was done to keep the juices flowing with American Airlines. And like, they're getting so many people transferring points over to American that they're paying. They probably negotiated a premium to buy the points, and with so many people making transfers, they are probably paying through the nose for American Airlines and for the American Airlines points. And they're going to have to make changes around, like, get more money in, i.e. raise annual fees, or cut liability, cut some spending, i.e. cut transfer rates with other partners, to keep this golden cow golden. So the Strata Elite refresh, the travel focused one, bad. The more lifestyle focused one, actually not terrible, because that keeps the 3%, and it added City Nights, and it made the earnings in the portal not so great. So yeah, I don't think the second refresh was bad. And I'm surprised that nobody's talking about the second refresh option. Like, frequent miler did a coffee break on the travel focused option. And was like, this is bad. This is potentially like not great. Like, this is not great. They didn't talk about this second option. Other videos that I noticed, I'm sure all dived into the first one. I did a video on the first one. I also did a video on the second one, and no one's talked about the second one. The second one is actually going to be like, if the second one is the one that is the refresh, that's the one that's going to get all of these videos that are just like, oh my God, like Citi just changed the game forever. Because not only did they only raise the annual fee $100, they could have charged more. They're keeping the 1-to-1 rate with American Airlines, and you're keeping your 3% on gas EV and all these other categories. And they're adding Citi nights. The videos are just going to write themselves. But anyway. Pirate of Boba joins us. I mispronounced that. Sorry. Hello, is this stream real today? Must be my YouTube hallucinating. Has to be. This stream is real. The contents of this stream are real. I didn't mention any April Fool's Day posts from sites because I went really upgraded points heavy on the stories that I did. Upgraded points did a April Fool's post, and Rove did an April Fool's post. I did not highlight either of those. I did highlight the April Fool's post from Rove in the Travel Deals with Rove group, but I did not do it here. Sorry, Carissa. Sorry, Max. Sorry, anyone at Rove who may be watching this now or after the fact. 3 people just signed off, so I'm going to assume it's 3 people from Rove. No, I'm kidding. Love you guys. Keep doing what you're doing. Should I keep my Wells Fargo account or close my account? If you're meeting what you need to meet to not get charged a fee on the account, keep it open. And if it's a student account, keep it open for sure. Like, there's no reason not to. There's no reason to close it. And like, having a relationship with Wells seems to be better than not having a relationship with Wells and trying to get Wells Fargo credit cards. So if you want Wells Fargo cards down the line, like the Autograph Journey or the private bank version or the premier banking version of it, definitely keep your account open for sure. Sam Ka says, Lil, you're not excited for SpaceX IPO in just at the 1.75 trillion valuation. If I had more money and I had some gumption and I had, just less fucks to give, I would be shorting the hell out of SpaceX. 1.75 trillion valuation is absolutely fucking stupid. Yes, this is a company that has redefined satellite telecommunications by just throwing junk into low Earth orbit. But enough junk up there and things stitched together, and oh boy, all these airlines signed on, which I think was dumb, but whatever. Not for the high-speed Wi-Fi, but like just signing on with one company, not looking into competition. But there hasn't been enough competition. Amazon Leo is years behind, I think. So whatever. No, 1.75 trillion valuation is absolutely absurd. There's no company that pre-launch would be worth nearly 1/10 of the US deficit. And no, the deficit's higher than 15 trillion. Or 17 trillion. But there's no company that's worth that much compared to US GDP and that much of the US economy. No, that's a bubble waiting to happen. Short that shit. Please note, this is not financial advice. Don't listen to what I'm saying. I would short it, but I also no longer have positive things to say about Elon. Double mentioning Citi Nights. So here's the thing. I went into Citi Nights on the podcast, and I'm going to do a video on this at some point. Yes, it's good marketing. I will finally acquiesce to that, and I'll try to fight it as best I can. It's good marketing. It's genius marketing. It should be weekends. It should be weekends, and the biggest thing that annoys me about Citi Nights, honestly, is it's just lazy coding. There should be a couple of if-else statements that like align up with time zones. It's amazing to me that Citi has no concept of time zones. But that's just me. Sam Cobb mentions, hey Matt, watched you for a while. You seem to have a lot of meh feelings about cards lately. What is one change in each refresh card you would like to have seen? You would have liked to have seen. The Premier. So, like going back to, let's just go back to the beginning of last year. JetBlue Premier. I think that card should not have had the exact same earning structure as the JetBlue Plus. I think that card should have had a more interesting path to mosaic status. On the JetBlue cards, it's every $100 of JetBlue spend is one tile. Every $1,000 on the card is one tile. I think if you're paying $500 for the JetBlue card, it should be every $50 of JetBlue should be a tile, and every $500. Like, cut the rates that you'd have to spend in half. That would have been more interesting. Oh, sorry, Tio. Just saw Tio Rico's comment. I'll come back to that. On the JetBlue Premier, that would have been fantastic. Looking at Strata Elite, World Legend is kind of a weak back end. I think Splurge was silly. Strata Elite's not. So the Strata Elite is like their premium card. Is it a lifestyle card? Is it a travel card? Or is it just like a coupon book masquerading as a travel card? Because Citi's not offering compelling travel protections. Like, they're not at Chase level protections. Chase level protections are what they are, and they're not like great. They're not even offering like AmEx travel protections. So, like, what exactly are you getting when you use that card for travel? Is that card even meant for travel outside of the Citi travel portal? So that card just feels, the further we get away from it, the more I look back at it, and I'm like, that card sort of has an identity crisis. But what the hell do I know? Citi got American Airlines 1-to-1, nanner, and I'm just a Citi hater. I just ask questions. Sapphire Reserve, that the 3x General Travel loss was a huge pain. Even if it wasn't addressed on that card, something more than what they did, like their rollout was a mess. The open table dining credit thing is stupid. That should have just been an open table credit. Citi also, I'm sorry, not Citi. Chase owns the Infatuation and Zagat, like, and they don't use they're not leveraging those to create more of a vertical with the card. So, like, a better dining credit would have blunted things. I would have done a different secondary marketplace than StubHub. I'm sure, like, StubHub has the money, sure, but like partnering with SeatGeek wouldn't have given people so much of the ick. And reformatting the Apple credits that you get would that to instead be Apple One would probably go a lot further, or the new Creator Studio or something like that. Those are making me a little bit more positive on those cards. There hasn't been too many other refreshes where I'm just like, eh. But those three cards in the last year, like, if they were slightly different, I'd probably feel a little bit better about things. Other things I'd like to see, like, let's go back to City Nights for a second. I want to see another issuer. Like, City Nights seems to be something of a success. I want to see another issuer take that to all weekend, and Bilt has also shown that, like, expanding multipliers and elevating your multipliers, even for a short time frame, can be a successful formula. I want to see someone like Chase do Weekends by Chase, and your Freedom Unlimited becomes a 3x unlimited card for the weekend. I want to see Wells take, like, Wells Weekends, and your active cash becomes a 4% cashback earning card on the weekend. Every weekend. Friday at 5 p.m. to Monday morning at 6 a.m., that card is just 4% uncapped. Go have fun. I want to see something like that because I think that would be funny. And it's a formula that seems to be winning for Citi. So, like, I want to see somebody take it and expand upon it. That would be nuts. I would love it. Kevin asks, what is the best HISA for higher FDIC than 250K? Anything that has a large sweep program up to like 2.5 mil. Wealthfront's okay. I think they're at 3.9, and Betterment is up there, but you have to have like initial investments with both of those of $500. TELUS just launched a HISA. I don't remember what its rate is on the HISA, but they just launched a HISA. TELLUS. Check them out. I have an invite for them. Whatever. And then Robinhood Gold still has a pretty high HISA, and they go past 250. I don't know why you're worried about 250. Like, if 250 is a thing for you, then yeah, maybe. But yeah, that's all I got. Chad from Chad's Money Minutes joining us. Yo, hey Chad. Hope all is well. Know you're traveling. Know you can only pop in, so hope all is well. Sorry I didn't get to you earlier, but thank you so much for stopping in for any time you could. Greatly appreciate it. Do you know if Wells will allow a product change from the autograph to the Attune? Probably not, because it'd be going from a Visa to MasterCard. Most issuers don't allow that. Chase was like the one exception on that one. I'm not even aware if you can move from an autograph journey to an autograph, or an autograph up to an autograph journey. So Wells still has to get their act together on product changes. I got to talk to my guy about that. So yeah, we'll see. The Bahamas gave SpaceX a few islands to land, and they gave us really cheap Starlink. Okay. I mean, for as long as the person at the top of Starlink is willing to let that be the case, they could go, off to a retreat somewhere and come back and decide not to. Or, if what's an island nation near the Bahamas that could just preemptively attack the Bahamas for no reason whatsoever? If there was an unprompted attack of the Bahamas, they could just turn Starlink off for the Bahamas, because, well, why would you get to have free internet to protect yourself? Again, very dark feelings about the top of SpaceX. City Nights, yeah. City Nights is great on the West Coast. 3 p.m. to 3 a.m. is pretty optimal. Yes, that is pretty optimal on the West Coast. I just find it funny that it's hard-coded to Eastern time. Kevin, you asked a bunch of times. I'm not sure. I believe like their Visa Infinite cards. Minimum limits on Visa Infinites is like $10,000. I've seen data points of people getting that version of the card with like 50. So T-Rigo said, you do know using a SpaceX internet for aircraft saves airlines money on fuel costs. No competitor has a small profile to compete. All others cost hundreds of thousands in fuel costs. Poor aerodynamics. Yeah, so GoGo. I know that GoGo isn't a good option. I know that some of the other options that they were using for the longest time, Boingo was another one. I don't remember who else. And like, I get that SpaceX and Starlink is a cheaper option and should be lighter for sure. I don't like giving Elon money unquestioned. It's possibly saving them money. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Delta. When they launch Amazon Leo, low Earth orbit. Amazon Leo is also, I'm sure, years behind through Blue Origin and Jeff's tinkering and whatever. The technology seems to work, which is great. I have no problem with the technology. My problem is more the guy at the top of it. Will it save airlines money on fuel and weight and therefore savings there? Sure. But it's not like the airline's going to pass that cost on to us. And if they're passing that cost on to us by just giving it away for free, great. But like we were getting to free with the other options as well that were more cumbersome. So, tech is great. Elon, not so great. What's the best credit card with the best protection? Completely subjective. You want an extended warranty? Lots of cards will offer extended warranties. You want cell phone protection? Wells Fargo cards are going to be great for that. You want damage, theft, theft, any of that? AmEx is usually pretty good across the board. Travel protections. Honestly, your best bet is just going to be buying travel insurance, but like protections provided by cards. Wells and Amex, not Wells. Well, Wells is actually a weird competitor in that because like they do offer common carrier stuff. For sure. But Amex and Chase pretty much across the board are going to be the best answer here, but it's completely subjective to the type of protection that you're looking for. Pyro says, give me a weekday dinner card for an in-person office loser like me. I completely get that for sure. Even increased multipliers on stuff like DoorDash and Grubhub. Like if I'm going to be forced to pay more, at least give me a higher multiplier for it for sure. Yeah, I feel that. City Night's just a better version of Bilt Rent Day if used correctly. No. Hard disagree. Bilt Rent Day, if Rent Day is now on the Palladium, that's 4x across the board that you can kind of do whatever you want with. The thing that people are doing with City Nights that's like netting them big points is they're going on DoorDash and buying e-gift cards. Cool. Like at some point, Citi or DoorDash is going to wise up to that. I don't think that that's a better version of Rent Day. Like it's 12 hours to go mainline DoorDash e-gift cards. I don't see how that's better than Rent Day. Because if Rent Day is on the Palladium and you're getting 4 times points on $250 to spend, like the only difference is it's uncapped. So like, sure, 6 times on $1,000 e-gift card bought on DoorDash is going to get you more points than the Palladium at 250 spend or something like that, whatever their 4x bonus would be, because I think it's still capped at 1,000 points per month. Then I don't know. I don't know that I agree with that because again, it's one day, all day long, capped versus 2 12-hour blocks. So the same one day, uncapped, 6x, and you can go absolutely crazy on DoorDash. And if not DoorDash, Grubhub. And if not Grubhub, Instacart doesn't count as dining. So that's a, what do you call it? That's a strike against it. But yeah, no, people are getting 6x dining. Like the big secret that's not really a secret is DoorDash. And they're going in DoorDash and they're buying e-gift cards and they're mainlining it like Peruvian marching powder. And Kevin said Cuba to the island nation. Yep. Spadeco asks if I've considered relocating from the East Coast to optimize for better City Nights returns. No. If I'm bored, I'm a night owl. If I'm bored, I can sit at like 2:30 in the morning and buy $3,000 in e-gift cards for sure. Rack up 18,000 points, lose my mind, and get yelled at by my partner. I can absolutely do that. I don't need to relocate to optimize that spend. I'm up those hours. What country is most expensive in Europe? Switzerland. Switzerland for sure. The Swiss franc is an insane exchange rate with the United States, and things that you think are relatively inexpensive are not there. I went to Switzerland in 2014. No, I was still in college. No, I was in Switzerland in 2009. It was the first time I saw a Bugatti Veyron. Let me rephrase. The first time I saw a Bugatti Veyron on a street, it was in Geneva. And like a basic bottle of Mountain Dew was like 250 franc at the time. And Chad also mentioned that Gstaad is insane. Gstaad. Where is Gstaad? The Netherlands? Maybe? I feel like the Netherlands might also be like weirdly cost prohibitive. My bet would be on the Swiss, but like the Netherlands wouldn't surprise me. Some of those smaller Eastern European countries might be weirdly insanely expensive, but maybe not. But I know for certain that Switzerland is pretty expensive. What's the best grocery credit card if Citi Strata Premier refresh is true, not including the AmEx Gold? If you want points, transferable currency points, Bilt Obsidian at 3x, and then huffing as many accelerators to get it to 4x for 25K in spend would probably be the next best answer. Then if online groceries are kind of a thing for you, the Sapphire Preferred is still strong in that category. Online grocery and grocery is not super different. It just don't use your physical card at the grocery store. You'd have to use like that company's app should trigger it for sure. And then best grocery card. After those two, the AAA Daily Advantage is 5% of groceries on $10,000 in spend, which doesn't go as far as you'd think it would these days. Custom Cash is theoretically 5x on groceries up to 6,000 in spend per year. That's 500 a month. You could mainline those if you wanted to. So I had to throw that out there as another points option. And then your 2% cards, or the Saver as well. Like the Saver is 3% groceries. I forgot about the Saver. So Sapphire Preferred, if used properly with online, if you leverage online groceries properly, is a strong play. Bilt Obsidian is going to be a strong play. Even stronger if you mainline accelerators with $200 in Bilt cash. Then the Saver, a 2% card, custom cash, and if cashback is your jam, then the Daily Advantage. Chad also mentioned the Wells Fargo Autograph, but the Autograph doesn't have grocery as a category, just dining. But dining through DoorDash is still 3x on groceries. Oh, yeah, any 3x dining card also works because DoorDash is dining, and DoorDash you can buy groceries. You're buying them at a slight at a markup, yeah, but like whatever, points are points at the end of the day sometimes. Hilton Surpass for everything also can work and is 6 times Hilton points at grocery stores. So if Hilton points are your jam, there you go. Wells does not have a grocery category in their lineup. Your best grocery card with Wells Fargo is the Active Cash or the Signify. Ricky's travel hacking. Hey, Ricky, thanks for joining. He mentions that a few locals are earning 24,000 thank you points a month doing that. Yeah. I don't think DoorDash cares for sure. I think Citi is going to care at a certain point. I wouldn't be surprised if you see City Nights expressly prohibit DoorDash or DoorDash gift cards specifically. But how would they find it? Oh, they'd find it. They'll find a way. And then Peruvian marching powder, eh? Well, you know, people got to mainline something to be doing the City Nights hack that they're doing. The Aeroplan card also does 3x groceries. Yep, that's 3x Aeroplan points, which if you're running the Aeroplan caravan, trademark Dugraus, shout out to Dugraus, then yeah, that can definitely work. But if you're not all in on Aeroplan, I was trying to think of transferable currencies first, then cashback cards, but yeah, the Hilton cards definitely give you grocery. The Marriott cards have grocery categories on them. The Aeroplan card has a grocery category on it. The IHG card has a grocery category on it. I don't think any of the Delta cards do. I don't think any of the United cards do. But the Aeroplan, the IHG, Marriott, and Hilton all have grocery categories for sure. I've seen Lamborghini, Ferrari, and more luxury cards at the Westfield Valley Fair Mall and Santana Row in San Jose. That area is considered a luxury area for locals, including me. Well, okay, cool. I'm sure it's all Lamborghini Uruses and Aston Martin DBXs and whatever the hell Ferrari did in that stupid fucking SUV crossover doesn't actually go off-road bullshit category that Lamborghini and those guys had to jump into but didn't have to jump into, but it's a great money grab, so they did with the Urus and the DBX, and I can't even remember what Ferrari's version of that car is, and I hate them all. I would buy the DBX though, just because the front shape of Aston Martins are just a thing of beauty. City Custom Cash and the Bank of America. I forgot that the Cash Rewards does grocery as a category. So yeah, if you have if you've got Platinum Honors or Preferred Rewards in addition, it's going to go down to like 4.5 instead of 5.25 with the cap changes, but unless you like stay in the new cap. But even if you drop down to 50%, you're going to be at like 4.5% grocery cash back on grocery, and that is $2,500 per quarter. So that's pretty strong. And then the custom cash is 5% on $500 a month. So yeah, 5% on 6,000, and it's a transfer currency, which is great. Chad mentions that the Delta Platinum has 2x on groceries. Okay, cool. And the Delta Gold also has 2x on groceries. Okay. I wasn't 100% sure. I haven't looked at the multipliers on the Delta cards in a while, but thank you for keeping me honest. Mercedes is also considered luxury. But with Mercedes, yes, it's a luxury brand, but there aren't luxury models. There are models I don't consider luxury. G-Wagon, yes, luxury. The S series, yes, luxury. The C series, not so much. The A series is dumb. The B series is dumb. The E class wants to pretend it's luxury. The G class is a little bit weird too. A bit niche, Ricky, a bit niche, but I have been really liking 3x grocery on AP and using on Aeroplan and using 1.25 pay yourself back for travel. Not the best value, but surcharges on international flights are getting expensive. Yeah, and like if you're able to net out pretty well with that, like that is what 3 times 1.25. That is 3 plus 1.25 would be it's like a 4.25% return. 4.25, 3.7. It's near 4% return, like 3.75% return. No, 1.25 times 3. We're just gonna do some math because I can't do it off the top of my head because I'm stupid. 3 times 1.25 equals 3.75. Yeah, no, I'm a clown. No, an effective 3.75% return on your groceries using pay yourself back on travel. That's solid. Near 4% was right. Cool. No, that's definitely a great way to go for sure. See Porsches almost everywhere. I'm sure it's a lot of Cayennes, Taycan. Well, the Taycan's not bad. I can't hate on the Taycan too much, but the Macan and the Macan, the Cayenne, and the Pan America, yeah, Pan America. I hate those cars. I hate them. But Porsche is not my favorite brand. Pyro, I'm not sure what the laugh is, but greatly appreciate it. And yeah, 3.75. I couldn't do math for a second. I'm sorry. But 3.75%, pay yourself back from grocery via Aeroplan on international travel up to, $2,500. That's solid. That's pretty freaking sick. For sure. All right. So yeah, we covered a bunch. We did a quick run through, speed run of tidbits from earlier this week. I'm going to do a follow-up video on the Chase Sapphire Reserve and the lack of Discoverist, because $800 you can definitely afford to put Discoverist on that card. Like, it does not make any sense to me. And I get that it's a business decision, and I get that there is business reasons for it, but like, you're still lacking behind the American Express Platinum card. And you had an easy path to like utilize a significant partner, and a partner that you're redoubling your efforts with. And you only went with the same basic tier, the same basic status, but you have to plow $75,000 through the card to get it. Missed opportunity, and a missed opportunity to sort of re-ingratiate yourself to the people who have just been eviscerating you for the card. Chad mentions that the Panamera and its resale value is doo-doo. The Panamera is doo-doo, yep. And I wouldn't imagine the resale value would do much to save it. They're all over the place in South Florida. Every time I see a Panamera, I want to punch the driver in the face. Because you, one, picked the wrong car, and two, picked the wrong car. And you spent way too much money picking the wrong car. Like, weird flex, bro. If the Panamera was priced closer to the 3 Series, I would almost respect you, but I can't. And I don't even like the 3 Series. Like, yeah, no. About 3 out of 4 is Porsche Cayenne. It's another car that I just want to punch every driver of. Because again, you bought the wrong car. And you're stupid for it. You paid too much to buy the wrong car. Double. I get that Citi needs to nerf to maintain American Airlines, but also you can get 75,000 American Airlines miles with 1,000 spend on AA cards. It doesn't add up to me. So on the card side, I think it's 2 different rates that we're talking about, right? Two different purchase rates, because since they've had the cards for so long, that rate of point purchasing to extend to your customers is significantly lower because of the long-term relationship that they've had. So it's a different rate as opposed to the points that you're buying for your non-Citi card holders. I think it's got to be like 2 different rates, because that's the only thing that can make a certain amount of sense to keep those 75K on 1,000 spend, the 80K on 1,000 spend, the 60K on 1,000 spend, and waiving the annual fees in the first year on the Citi Platinum card and the business. Like, there's no way that Citi's not taking a bath there. So yeah, it doesn't make a ton of sense to me that that's the case. I'm I'm sorry. Um, Used Cayenne, like Porsches will last for a while for sure. Like German engineering is great, but all right, maybe I won't punch them, but I don't like the Cayenne. I don't. If you wanted a Cayenne and you wanted it to be German and just as unreliable off the road, the Volkswagen Tiguan would have been fine. Shabby Old Cloak, would you mind doing a quick recap of what you covered tonight? Sure. We've got American Express is opening a new Centurion lounge at Boston. It's going to be in Terminal C. It will be 2 floors. They're also opening a Sidecar that is set to open in 2029. They're opening a Sidecar lounge in Charlotte Douglas in 2027. They are expanding and redesigning the DFW lounge in 2027. That is going to be 50% larger. Tio, thanks for joining. Greatly appreciate it. So those are the first things. Membership Rewards is cutting transfers to Etihad Guest in June of this year. Chase extended their pay yourself back for numerous credit cards, 1.5 on select charities with the Sapphire Reserve, 1.25 on the annual fee, grocery stores, pet services and veterinary services, 1.1 veterinary services and pet stores on the Sapphire Preferred, 1.25 on the annual fee. The Freedom cards are 1.25 on select charities. Various other cards have their pay yourself back rates. I'm not going to go too much deeper into those. They're also running up to a 30% transfer bonus with Aeroplan. It's a base 20% bonus, but if you have the Aeroplan card and you spend more than you transfer more than 50,000 points, you'll get that 10% bonus on the Aeroplan card. That all stacks together, which is great. So that's up to 30%. But the standard bonus is 20%. That is running through the month of April. They're also doing a 70% bonus with IHG. Capital One is running another 30% bonus, transfer bonus to Japan Airlines because they couldn't negotiate 1-to-1. So they're just doing this. JetBlue has launched the ability to buy a subscription of points. You can do 1,000 points monthly for $13 a month or $144 a year. They also have 2 other plans. There's one plan that will stack pretty well if you also hold a JetBlue card, where you're going to get a 10% points rebate when booking with points. That would stack with the credit card that has the same feature, so you get 20% points back, and it would give you an additional 3x points per dollar when spending on JetBlue. That would cost you $750 a year. There's things to like, things I don't like there. And then Sapphire Reserve has added Explorer status if you spend $75,000 through the card, so you get it for the remainder of the year that you spend $75K and the next year. You don't get any milestone rewards with it, and it's only Explorist for doing that. You don't get Discoverist for holding the card, which is stupid. And then JetBlue is launching dynamic bag fees. They're blaming to offset higher fuel prices, but they're just conditioning you to let that be the case going forward. And that's the rundown. So Tia Rico had to sign off. Kevin's also signing off. No problem. They bought the Porsche Cayenne because why not? Then that's fair. That's the car you want to get. That's the car you want to get. I cannot blame that. I do think there were better options. Absolutely, Shabby. No problem. I gotta say, the Pepsi prebiotic vanilla, cherry vanilla, not bad. And you get 3 grams of fiber and only 5 grams of sugar. It's a pretty good soda. What is it? It's 30 calories. That's awesome. So we're at 1 hour and 28. Any other questions? Anything else anybody wants to talk about? We've got a bunch of those things. I want to do a follow-up video on the Sapphire Reserve. I want to do a follow-up video on the JetBlue subscription. I'm probably going to do a video on the City Nights idea because that came up on the podcast, and I do think that issuers have an opportunity to keep their cards largely the same, but run a promotion every week and have people prioritize their cards, which is what you want to do. Shabby says, in general, just how you been? Kind of a loaded question. Last couple of months have been rough, honestly, on a personal note. Just family health stuff, my own just lifestyle sucks, in terms of like split household. I desperately need to move and settle in a life for myself. Part of why you don't see me do videos of like, oh, I just got this card. Like, I opened 17 cards in a year. I don't like need to do that, first and foremost. Secondly, at some point, I would like to move in the whatever near or midterm-ish future. It would probably be renting. Renting in the Hudson Valley sucks. As does as would home ownership at the moment. Like, I have no problem borrowing against my retirement or anything like that, to do the down payment on a house or anything in that regard. And I would get a really decent rate on a mortgage, and that wouldn't be an issue. It's just like finding a place, and like housing prices depress the shit out of me right now. And yeah, I've also been thinking about like leaving my job. But hey, Talkspace, really good resource. I've been using that for the last few months. So yeah, overall, it hasn't been the best. It's been what it's been, but like, it's okay to like know that you need help and utilize resources to do that. So yeah, just being real there for a few minutes. Yeah, affordability is a huge issue that like I'm dealing with from time to time. I also have to pay down my Freedom Flex. Like, I have a Freedom Flex. I'm not using the Freedom Flex for the active categories. I got it because I needed a fair amount of credit card work. Not credit card work, sorry. I needed a fair amount of car work done last year, and I knew I could hit the $500 welcome offer in a quick second. So I did that. And so like I got the welcome offer, and it's a 15-month it was a 15-month balance transfer, 15-month balance transfer, 15-month 0% APR. So like I was buying stuff. I went on like this weird spending spree mid-year last year. Stuff I shouldn't have been buying. Absolutely shouldn't have been buying. And like watch some costs run away from myself. So those bills were starting to come due. So I just balance transferred everything over. So I am chipping away at that ever so slowly. Yeah, so that's another reason why anything like a house loan or rent credit check right now, my credit's still strong. I'm well in the 750s, but like they're looking at utilization on one card that's just, well above 50%. And so they may not like that much. To which I say, screw you. And Wegovy's expensive. Shut up. Leave me alone. But yeah. So yeah. Pyro, take care of yourself. Life is expensive. Life is expensive. It's obnoxiously expensive. Like, just all that shit. Just beyond expensive. Shabby, I understand that. Here's the things getting better for you, and you get the things you need. Trying like hell. Thank you for sharing. Appreciate what you do. Greatly appreciate that. Yeah, I put myself up. I like updated my LinkedIn for the first time in like 6 years the other day. Put myself as like passively looking because I want to go through the process of like interviewing for a job and things like that. And work's been a pain in the ass. I have like 9 or 10 weeks of paid vacation. No, I don't have the full 10 weeks right now. I've got maybe 7 weeks of paid vacation, but I've got like 10 weeks of long-term leave. And I've been toying with taking a personal leave for a little while and like put my head back together, or try to put my head back together. It's a pain. Rupert Pond, appreciate the candor. Keep your head up. All things work together. All things work together for good. Yeah, there are a lot of times where I will feel like I'm like just treading water, but I try to keep my head up as best I can. It's not like, I'm a very optimistic person. Obviously not, especially if you watch the pod. And I've been having issues with pessimism a lot lately. But yeah, no, I just handle things as best I can, one day at a time. Do what I can to, get through today, get through tomorrow. Tomorrow's just another step, and life is only taking one step at a time. Yeah, it's the best I can hope for sometimes, and just is what it is. But yeah, I mean, again, cannot emphasize enough while I'm on my little platform here. It is okay to feel like you're not okay. It's okay to express when you're not feeling okay. It's okay to, reach out or, ask a friend for help. And if your friend can't help you, know that you've got options out there for help. Like a lot of things that employers don't do. One of the things employers don't do enough of is highlight their EAPs, their employee assistance programs. And like you have to actively look for that. That's a pain in the ass. Don't do that. Like know that it's available, ask where it is. Because they're not going to proactively provide that. It'll only become a thing where like work's starting to get away from you. And your boss, if your boss cares, your boss might reach out. Don't let it get to that point. Like, ask HR about EAPs if you need that help, for sure. Matt, just try to have a good week, man. Things will slowly. Yeah, no. They'll get better. They will get better for sure. It's just been a rough go of things lately. I'm not afraid to say that it's been rough. Don't want to go dive too deep into what's making it rough or anything like that, but just working my way through as best I can for sure. But yeah. Don't want to drag too far. Don't want to drag things down. But again, like cannot stress this enough. Like if you're having things will slowly get better. It could always be worse. Take care, man. I appreciate what you do. Well, I appreciate you for saying that, John. James, sorry. It's getting late. Thank you, James. No, it definitely will get better. And things could definitely always be worse for sure. And I'm not trying to say like, well, I'm not trying to be woe is me or anything like that. I know a lot of what I've been, dealing with would at best be classified as first world problems for sure. But, it's first world problems right now is lack of ability to like maintain your household most of the time. And that's freaking rough. But it is what it is. I'm not trying to end this on a downer or anything like that. But no, I will be open and candid. Like sometimes things aren't great. This is what it is. But yeah, no, I'll see what happens. I'm also under a minor embargo at the moment. But things dropped earlier today, so like the embargo got broken. But I will have more news at the end of the week about Rove. They're doing more stuff, which is cool. I am embargoed, but if you saw Daniel the Dealer earlier today, he accidentally broke embargo. So I'm curious to see what happens with him and Carissa. I know she's less than thrilled about it. At some point, I might try to get Carissa on a live or Carissa on the pod live or something like that. I'm sure that would be fun. talk about Rove more and things like that. But we'll see what happens. With that, Roman mentions, I love my CSR. Just booked 2 nights at IHG through the edit, 2 nights in Intercontinental, $829. Just got back $250 edit, $250 IHG, and the $300 travel credit. That is exactly the way to handle that. Like, that's $29 out of pocket. That is awesome. I am looking to do a Kimpton stay. I want to book it 4 nights so that I can take advantage of, at this point, like my travel credit will come in at the end of April. I want to book 2 separate 2-night stays, 2 separate 2-night accommodations, get the edit credit, get the select credit, get the edit, get the select, get the edit, and get the travel credit all in the same booking. And I have IHG Platinum status from the CSR. Like, that is a primo setup right there. $29 out of pocket for an Intercontinental for 2 nights in an Intercontinental. That would cost you $829. Again, the travel setup and the edit credit and that select credit, like, that select credit has to come back next year. It would suck if they had to swap out IHG. Like, it would suck if it wasn't IHG again. But like, even if you swapped out IHG and you did Hyatt and you did Hilton and you did I don't know, Mandarin or some other brand that is either in the edit or not in the edit, doesn't matter. But like, the $250 credit getting you to explore other brands would be genius, right? And they've got GHA properties and minor properties and NH properties. Like, that is huge. I'd love to see Chase try to set up a transfer partnership with GHA and Discovery Dollars. Like, I don't know how it would work out necessarily, but like, that would be a pretty impressive way to go about things. And if someone can convince Omni that like they're a legit transfer partner, like they're not a fly-by-night operation that could go bust at any moment. Whoever can get Omni Select, because their hotels to get a night is like 100 credits for the night. Omni Select, you know what? Let's go pull this up again. Because the Omni program is like secretly super valuable, but the only problem is there's only 42 in the country. Omni Select guest loyalty programs. So let's do this. Share screen. So rewards beyond the room, status levels unlock even more benefits. I don't care about that. Where are you going? I don't care. Member benefits, membership is complimentary. Earn free nights fast. Just 100 Omni credits unlocks a free night at any Omni hotel or resort. There's no complicated award chart or redemption formula. Just a simple way to reward you for your loyalty, and will waive resort service charges and destination fees when you redeem your free nights. Every night you stay at an Omni hotel or resort earns you at least 5 Omni credits, and every $100 purchase is beyond your room and charged to your room earns you at least 1 Omni credit. Select guests with champion or icon status earn 10 credits per night stayed, and select guests with icon status earn 2 credits per $100 spent. Like, the Omni program, stupid simple. It's 100 credits a night. 20 nights gets you a free night. Mesa was doing 30,000 points to 100 credits. Like, if Chase came back with Omni as an option, it would just destroy. It would just destroy like the, oh my god, Hyatt's the only thing we can do. No. Like, Omni would be the new hotness, and it would cost you tens of thousands of points. But like, if you're getting to book an Omni, right? Let's go back here, right? We're going to reshare the screen with Omni real quick. And Rupert and Source King, I do see your comments. We'll get to those in just a second. So if I wanted to book a hotel or resort, let's go. Where are you going? Let's do the Rancho Las Palmas, right? No, I want to go to the Rancho Las Palmas. We're going to do a Wednesday into Friday. So we're going to do a 2-night stay in August at the Rancho Las Palmas Resort. Special rates. We're not going to worry about special rates. We're going to do 1 room, 2 guests. We're going to book 100 credits. A traditional room, $284 a night. That's not bad. Sleeps 4. The deluxe room, $318 a night. Vista View, $318, $386 for that. The Plaza room, $386. $454 for the balcony. Poolside, you're going to pay a little bit extra. Lake View, $454 to start, $522 for the bigger room. Suites are $735 a night. $881 for the luxury suite. Presidential suite is $966, an executive suite. And I don't think that there's any limit on what your 100 credits get you, right? So if you can book the suite, right, all the way at the top, executive suite, 1 bedroom, $820 a night, includes $45 per night resort charges. If you did that, for 100 credits, you'd be saving $500 in points per night. So if it was 60,000 points to 200 credits, that would be huge. So I don't know. I think Omni would be a great way to kind of push back against the stuff. Bring back Mesa. They had Omni. Yep. That 30,000 point rate kind of makes sense now. And if Chase could do it, I think Chase should, especially to get Omnis into the portal for booking purposes. That would be huge. Like if I'm Chase right now, I try to get as many programs into the travel portal as I can that aren't necessarily Hilton and Marriott. Like getting Hilton or Marriott into the portal as well would be like a coup. But I try to get as many of these properties into the portal as you can. Omni, I'd love to see them get Omni. I would love to see them add GHA. I would love to see them add Jamaria. I would love to see them add Shangri-La Circle. I would love to see them add Journey Rewards. I would love to see them add there's somebody else that I would love to see, and then add Omni as a transfer partner as well. So now you're earning 8 points per dollar, plus you're earning credits, plus you're earning whatever else, and like you could set up a week at an Omni resort through your Chase points and your Omni stays. That would be huge. That would be insane. Source King's looking at hotels for Sweden's games in the World Cup, and the cash prices are insane. $800 for a Hyatt place in Houston. What are the points rates looking like? Because that's where you're going to get ridiculous cent per point valuations for sure. Because that Hyatt place, I think, is only a category 3. And if you could book it now, you don't have to worry about the 5 bands coming in May, and you don't have to worry about it moving up to like a category 4 or category 5 with this month's announcements. I would move some points over to Hyatt, or I'd buy some points in Hyatt right now and cash those points out for that Hyatt place. It sounds dumb, but if it's a category 3 Hyatt place, it's capped like at peak right now at what, 18,000 points a night. I would do that in a heartbeat. 18,000 points, which would be at 1 cent per point, $180 for an $800 room. Do that. Go figure out a points transfer for sure. Bilt, Chase, buy points, whatever you got to do. Speaking of credits, I'd love the Sapphire Preferred to get a mini travel credit like the CSR. I think you could bank on that pretty easily for a Sapphire Preferred refresh. For sure. Dong Kim joining us. Thank you, Dong. Thanks for joining in. Thank you for everybody who stuck around. It's 11 o'clock at night. Greatly appreciate all y'all. James, would you let us know if Rove will have an Android app when available? I can let you know right now, they'll definitely have an app when available, for sure. They definitely have an app for sure. They're developing an app. There's maybe an app floating right now on a different platform. Maybe, possibly. I wouldn't possibly know. No, not at all. But when they launch an app, it will be on both Android and iOS when they launch it, for sure. There's like a small hiccup on the app side that's like really annoying and really like functionally key to what they want to do, but they have taken some steps there. Like when they add the functionality, it's going to be awesome, but now it is what it is. But they'll definitely have an Android app for sure. And why is Japan and the Maldives the holy grail for points use? A lot of it is award charts versus price. Japan, I don't remember offhand, but like the Maldives, when a overwater bungalow is like $2,800 a night versus, at the time 95,000 Hilton points. It was a huge value with the Hilton points. That's gotten less so with the last couple of Hilton devaluations, where that same room now is like $250,000 points a night. So more reflective of like the $2,400 a night rate. A lot of it is just award charts still with places like Hyatt, IHG. Like for whatever reason, they just happen to be like at the lower end of the bands for certain programs, but like their cash prices would be insanely inflated. So that disconnect is what leads to them being like point holy grails. But I don't know. I don't think it's. I think that's why they're considered holy grails for points use, because your cent per point in terms of like hotels and even like the airline trips there are significantly different compared to most other places. We're going to help Source King out here for just a second. Points purchase. All right. So Hyatt right now. Wish I'd held on to some points instead of using for the Park Hyatt Tokyo bookings. No, you definitely want to use those Park Hyatt Tokyo bookings for sure. So, but let's see what we can do. Share screen, purchase share gift rewards. So let's say we wanted to purchase some bonus points. Oh, I've got to do this nonsense. Okay. Well, if you buy 5,000 points, you're going to save 20%. This is running through April 7th right now. And you also have my World of Hyatt number, whatever, it's fine. So if you wanted to purchase, okay, so it's 8,000 points per night, right? Let's say you wanted to do 3 nights. So you need 24,000 points. Instead of paying $2,400 right now with the 20% discount that they're running, you could buy 24,000 points. Cost of the points would normally be $624, but you're going to save $124.80. So you're spending $499.20 USD. Would you pay $500 to stay in the exact same room that you'd be paying $2,400 for? And we can do a CPP calculator for that real quick, right? Is not that CPP calculator. All right, let's just go to Award Travel 101. So cents per point, miles required. So 24,000, right? Opportunity cost, points and miles would have cost would have been earned from, who cares? Total cash cost $2,400. Tax and fees, we're not even going to worry about tax and fees, right? It's a 10 cent per point. It's a 10 cent per point hotel during the World Cup. Pay $500 for 24,000 points to spend 3 nights. That would cost you $800 a night. 10 cents per, like, it's a 10 cent per point redemption with the points. So yeah, I would spend $500 to do the exact same stay. I would spend $500 to secure that stay at 24,000 points right now than I would spending $2,400. That math kind of maths for me. And if Spathco is still watching, I think Spathco would appreciate that math. So yeah, they're running a 20% discount. You have to buy at least 5,000 miles. But if you buy that 5,000 miles, you're going to get that 20% discount. If you go through a third-party service like Rakuten, you're going to earn 1.25x on that subtotal. That would either be through with Bilt or AmEx, or straight cash back at 1.25%. Top cash back would give you 2.52% cash back on those on that point purchase, and Rove would get you 1.6x Rove miles per dollar on that. I don't know how long points.com takes to make that purchase a reality for you, but it's a nice little triple dip. So, Source King, I would say if you want to do that, if you want to make that happen, that booking happen for 8,000 points per night, and get it in the bag now, I would spend the $500 to buy the 24,000 points. And if you only need to do 2 nights, you only have to spend for 16,000 points, which still qualifies for the discount. So I'd absolutely do that. For sure. But yeah, that's just my 2 cents on that one. I talked about Omni. We covered all of these stories, so we're good there. I ran through Tidbits for like the first 15, 20 minutes just to go through all of that. We opined on cars. We opined on, life. So you got 11,000 UR points pending. Are they going to clear soon enough for you to make that 8,000 points? Like, if it's one night, okay, and you can wait for the UR points to clear, that's fine. If you want to do more than one night, though, I would just purchase the points. Yes, it's $500. Like, if it's one night, 8,000 points, let your UR points post, right? And you're still gonna get an insane cent per point on that one. You need 2 nights. Okay. 16,000 points. It's not, you're not buying, you're not paying $500. There you go. Buy the points. Because you're doing 16,000 points for a $1,600. Yeah, you're still getting a 10 cent per point redemption on that. Yeah. Absolutely buy the points. And this is one of those times where buying the points is the better play. And you're going to save more money buying the points than waiting. Unless you had like 5,000 Bilt points lying around. Because then you move the 5,000 Bilt points and the 11,000 UR points, should they, like, when they clear. But just buy the points. Just buy the points, get it done, get it over with, get your 10 cent per point hotel night at a Hyatt place of all places, and like live it up and love you the Swedish qualifying. For sure. Do that. That's awesome. Matter of fact, I would go buy the points myself. I wanted to go spend some time at that Houston Hyatt place. Not that I like want to do. I'm sure the Swedes have a really good football team, but like, man, I don't love FIFA. FIFA's not high on my list of people or organizations I want to support right now either. So there's that. What? Oh, interesting. I might have to go and watch a bit of a live stream that just finished. Huh. All right. Yeah. So we've been going on now for about 2 hours. I think this is probably as good a place as any to stop. I appreciate the 50 plus of you who have stuck around. 5:15, I'll have 130,000 Bilt points. Okay. But are there going to be any hotels left, like hotel rooms left at that Hyatt place on 5:15? Buy the points now, man. Just buy the points now. You said you're buying the points. Do it that way. But 130,000 Bilt points for Rakuten purchases. That ain't bad. You can do a lot of one nights, a lot of 5,000 point nights through Hyatt with those for sure. Because I know you're trying to maintain globalist from a corporate challenge. I think. Or I don't know if you've been in the mission. But anyway, with that, it's been 2 hours. I greatly appreciate everyone who stuck around. Greatly appreciate everyone who stuck around for my little, here's my life thing happening. But yeah, a couple of video ideas have sprung from this. So I'll probably record the Sapphire Reserve video follow-up tonight and get that posted for members and folks in the not too distant future. I want to do something on the City Nights idea, and I want to do something on the JetBlue stuff. And there's been like 6 or 7 other things I'm sure that were in the news recently that I didn't even cover tonight. But greatly appreciate everyone who has stuck around. Greatly appreciate you guys for watching, for being members of my channel. Those of you who are members, just quick shout out to the number of members who are in tonight. Source King, James Ragland, Rupert Pond, let's see, Pyro of Boba, Sharvizio, Double Animal Fries, Chad's Money Minutes, official Chad's Money Minutes. Chad is launching a new project with Kirby G and John R on John's credit and travel. Shout out to John. He had his live stream earlier tonight with Spencer Johnson. I wasn't able to watch that at the time. I was on dad duty, so I will be sure to be watching the replay of that. If you ever want to become a member, $2.99 a month, you can cancel at any time. That is the Tidbit Collector. And Keith. I forgot about Keith. Keith also a member. Shout out to him. Shout out to Family Travel John, Happy Tom, Bill Wright, and I think that covers all the members who were in here tonight. But you can join at any time. $2.99 a month. You can cancel at any time. Greatly appreciate everyone for sticking around. Talk to you guys soon. Bye for now.